7. A Deuteronomy 1. Beauty is not just in the beholder's eyes, meaning subjective, wrong, it is in the act of eye, reciprocating truth to the beholding mind, with sense the supervening estuary, whenever people bring up the facile idea, convention, that is based on rationale, that has no need of interceding thinking. To behold true beauty is to know oneself as human, grasping the Eternal's voice, or what should claim us in infinity. It is just ugly thinkers who'd voice our eyes, and Gaudi knew this with his 12-fold steeples. He knew the shallows of unhumble minds that sought to recognise their sense of value, inhibiting the higher values of an art that mirrors corporeal beauty. We have to recognise that both exist, the grace of body and the grace of art, subsumed in higherness of deity, either God's or man's, each is each other's nearness. He knew the mysticism of a parabola, curves of thighs and flowers that need no boundaries, but only those which give shape to our ideal fullness. Bernini knew such, fresh from thoughts of fallen towers. St. Teresa's ecstasy on falls of liquid lace bequeaths to us a sort of tau the way is fragrant, with the rules of change, but nothing happens without purpose. The divining hand is both creator and created, image fixed, of Gaudi with a stitched coat filled with nuts, imitation of a vagrant by self uncreated, as will mortification where art's utter will, but this is not his image, life's the only sound. Transcribed in stone and out of contour rainbowed, out of a single contour of the bluest light, I who write this maladroitness of verses, I who perform yet this half-doggerel dancing upon my lips only when I choose to speak, who have not the wherewithal to lend it credence, am pastured sometimes in the same cerulean, and skip light-footed in the dots of dream. And I'd like to go where everything is not a work in progress. This is not my prison nor my diocese, but hydroelectric beasts with jasper eyes lend entertainments going out at nights, like Christ the coloured panther with his sweetened breath that leads the lambs in armour to their second sky, while my own insight shatters like a varnished glass against the deadening bulwark of this flesh's ecstasy. Fell emperor of our dead masks none obituaries, who moves through sopping newsprints as our eye tracks veer. What aim the ash trail of your debit enterprise? What sweetness feeds ambrosiac blood upon your spear? I have refused to grow wise, I have been ancient and nascent. What is only the artist then who age makes blind to questions, but our questwards is the only presence. We do not sense the point we passed when far behind. Yet I could have watched before the earthquake that took Rhodes' Colossus, and fallen prey instead to envy at the temple built, to mocking death of enterprise at Halicarnassus, or been a suitor to love's temple built at Ephesus. Artemisia's urn stay gilded in the shadowed vessels, that the weeds make in the water of vanished camps, built up against the banks not even Mausolus now thinks of, but which exist within the shadow of the amaranth. 2. Pulchritude, if such an ugly word is apt to indicate reverse of misbegotten meaning, is to the ear, it seems, a papier-mâché sculpture, replica of that grim god that Phidias wrought. But beauty is not a state of mind, a flux that burgeons past all entropy, more precious through the fact that one peony withers as another shoot finds its green genesis. It is a question not of mind but eye, or ear translated to simulacrum, with conscious flow what we call entity, of all the godhead of impermanence, contained in mind that says this has no limits, yet what dwindles brings into eternity, the forms of angels in a liquid stasis, of empyrean flesh that makes our lights of lives divine. No question of taste this is, but how the simply mouthing, words that forget now what it means to sing. I leave you judge of this my affidavit, for listen kindly, for I must this while stay plain, This is not the forging of the current age. I pander to what I deem shall come, misunderstanding seeks a way to justify against demise. This does not matter. Against the picks and trowels of a jackass ruling age I come, and bear me witness, if you bear my weight, and share the atlas burden of the free-wheel cosmos. Come and flap your pinions in the windsness that nor flags nor rises, and ride with pain of grace and glide with me, for I have crossed from half-light's lands to Ganges, my heart an arid sparrow crushed and crushing flung, the walls of several cities burned and sundered, down to rest with all bare-pasted galleries hung, rebirthed with tides and tidal bursts needs must of suns, made harlequins of kings, unfelt my presence, midst the tinkers crowned and beggars left to run, forever with the gowns of starry essence, adorned by sequined queens, and does this matter? No. My life's a broken book that needs just tongues to speak my name when I am withdrawn in snow and lost with thoughts of lost Elysiums. So child, when stranded in another air, when my language can inhabit, spare away his eyes, pale prince of manic deadlights none eternalize, God's twin to testing tricks and mask of man's despair, and I long gone live now as here against your presence, on a day when laurels wait the unsoiled brows of envied ones, I have been sweated to essence, and would join the humblest when the gates carouse, of astral orbs beams on the night's portcullis, parabolic window that engulfs the air. Child, look for me when our lamps have left us, and I shall be waiting there. 8. Towards affinities beyond. My love, since I saw you last, since before we reached the chamber, I cannot count the quasars which have passed, but there still gleams time, like a memory of a lost event unwitnessed, and this illusion carried still to opened senses like a frozen climate now bequeaths the frost of all your absence in its hands of dew. Blue orchid sought unsought when in stasis dreams I render, fought to the amniotic box wherein the wheeling ways of our identities relapse to an entropy sans number. I sleep purloined of you. Did you catch this face when you made a statue with 1,000 hours striding past the ghosts of galaxies? Our allotted masters are our allotted mates are many, though their numbers fivefold few. So many as lose ourselves to us. I remember the garnet dance of eyes, crowning the quads and spires of lost Antares Alpha, and how I tasted lips that were wet when you had took me in you, my mouth against yours, your thighs enclosed me like the lights round our bywayed bay. Black glows the sky outside at night like a god too full for hunger. Electric black by day, but which is which, we time each season spray, by the foliage garnered in the half-mile yard, for every foison, there is a flower or some fauna that does not recall its source, and our moons where we engendered them, or carried them from Terra past so many detours, unimportant now, but one reminds me sometimes, a hybrid sunflower that is only ultraviolet turned to reflect its blue refractions from its veins of marble, softer than all marbles are a drained liquescence, carrying your eyelids in its pale purview. From actual food I fasted, tasteless as your breath, is our sustenance allotted, pain and even play, faint conjuring tricks in hollow static mirrors, the sums of us, is this the weight of seraphim, the luminaries whose progress sainted ages, unlived through in our borrowed cells, descendant of our anti-canty tides helical cortex, which even now in dreams us ascendancy, and we learn to square the circle by their weight of angels. God's parlour tricks we skipped fae harlequin despair of our survival's path. A ship turns many circles, my lost one windfalls me in windless air. The spacecraft's nave, the chapel of our eyes, descending cadence of a transept of our phoenix day, past the prince of all the dead masks none obituaries, in the gleaming courts our path where metal meadows play. Excelsior, ye sons of such whose sands were granite, glass arch constructors shutting in all suns, was destroy us forward, godling gliders, through the free fall all where specs are single syntax, or the chords of voids made manifold in man. Excelsior, signs of those whose hands of granite carved with Jupiters with lorded tides and moons, symphonic shadows cast to star-stream striders, through ammoniac clouds that straddle all our arcs you ride us, to the spiral arms we seed with love, so signs of man. Seed them with any feeling I can taste your breath, it burns me like a freshet from my memory. It is only lack of purpose we mistake for death, my own enervate flights that claim white destiny, my own to relish sense with all it falls beneath. We used to visit the museum at Antares, remember, city capital of 7 worlds on microfiche, projected out against red void from our once azure mother, subjective distance not divided from Bernini's creatures, to the Orion mirroring soul shrines of the pyramids, and the latter seemed quite small from an aerial distance. From the skyway seem like ants' tracks through an open space, between where we are with our shut lives like an open window, looking on the ghosts of we ourselves from Ganges, of our past, to captured wastes of the Suez Canal. My love, when last you laid your hair against me, in the planet's afterglow I felt the heat against of Triton's future fountains, I felt the rupture of quasars. Against it all we are still manifold man, cosmic hoofbeats scream but scorch of Grecian Venus, still reigns supreme in utter blanking blackness, still a shadow of you radiates a touch, much clearer to me than the dots of dawns. When Jupiter became a second sun, we had to go there, we had to find the planets, regardless of where our different ships are placed. We are the same, I mean man Galatia, you Polyphemus, since it was you who chased me first, the irony of names. But the name of Neptune, I think, is inepter still, its surface wiped like builders' trash by way of galaxies. We have to learn, my friend, to flow against such stone. This hollow static wilderness, our primal garden, no modernity now possible, but grand we are, in desiccate flotation and transform our orbits, correspondingly to whims as fixed as satellites. We either saw where we were safe some while or never witnessed, we the slights of many systems, and the blanks of chance, our thrown overboard, self-guide where no Pleiades are. And so we left some bright millennia back the dying planet. Man should survive at any cost, will life be burnt to grey, as mine would be except a century more kept in silence, with your voice in deprivation, with the tank's wound stillness, in the spacecraft that may meet you in its perihelion, to where your own will hover also to our new blue sphere. And if man must plant survival at the cost of violence, of emotive flux that claimed us in its cadence once, or many cadences in one, then question God's own purpose, making one of us and deity's incipients, to say our speck among the vaults of voids a single purpose, of a universe our forms remold, rebirth of love. My own lie separated by the strength of nearness, by which the far away is fixed but nothing turns in air, from deck to chamber that's more ancient or more fresh in clearness, than the multiverse that parts us or that passed us there. One moment since 1,000 years ago's green sigh, amid the flora of the ship's park when the false rain shower, on sapphire patches of fall spring where lives my sunflower, where hides your life, this is not absence, this is just goodbye.